Greeting, guys. A couple of my students had trouble with static routing, so I'm making a video to, make it clear to them how the static routing work. So, as we all know that static routing is a routing method at which administrator manually configure the router, to forward package to a particular network. So, in this video, we're going to be doing static routing, but we're going to start with the first two routers, and then we'll go three routers, and then four routers. So we're going to go ahead and build a network. This part, I know you know how to do it. So we're going to do two network first, and then later we're going to do three network. So network building, you're already familiar with it. So I'm going for 2960 switch. So we're actually using two routers. So the design is your own way. You can design it whatever way you want. So go ahead and do the design. Yeah. So we're going to complete the design the bike. Okay guys, so welcome back after the design. Now it's always good to label your network so as to know which interface have what IP address. So when you're routing you don't get trouble, right? So you can do your design anyway that I know that you know how to do. So we're going to go ahead and configure. So first we have to add those IP to this computer. So what I'm going to do, just copy this address. So this is this computer address. I just have to statically assign it. So the address is that. But then we have to implement default gateway here because we will be sending messages from one network to another network. So this router will route the packets, through a default gateway. So the default gateway going to be the address of this router. So the address of this router is 2.1. So that's going to be the default gateway. So we're going to go back to this other computer also. So this network on this side is one network. So we're going to go ahead here and configure 1.2. So the computer address is 1.2. And also default gateway follow with the IP address that we assign to this interface. So it's 1.1. So that's going to be the default gateway. So 1.1. Sorry for the quality of my voice. I'm having cold. Right. So the two computers now have IP address that belong to their network. So we got to go ahead on this router here and assign this IP address to 0 by 0 interface. And then between this router 1 and router 2, we have to make, there's a network there. So there's a 10 network here. So this interface here have to carry this IP, and this interface have to carry this IP, and this interface have to carry this IP. So now we're doing for two routers. So we'll go ahead on this router number 1 and just go to CLI and say no for here. It's not case sensitive. You can type in whatever case. So what you have to watch is are these addresses. So enable config terminal. So here we have to rename our router to router 1. So we have to say host name router 1. So now we have renamed this router to router 1. So we have to enter this interface and hide this IP. So we're going to say interface G0 by 0. Enter. Now we're inside this interface, so we have to hide IP address. So we're going to say IP I. So the address is 192.168.1.1. That's the address of this interface. 192.168.1.1 followed by default subnet max. What class of IP is that? Class C. So we got 255. That's 255.255.0. Now no shutdown. So no shut is the command to turn this port on. So now this port is on. This address now is assigned to this one. So this network know this router, or this router know this network. So we stay on this router and enter this interface G0 by 0, G0 by 1. So interface G0/1, we enter. We have to hide this IP. So the IP there is 10.0.0.1. What is the subnet mask? Can you guess? 255.0.0.0. Why? That's a class A IP. Enter. Okay, so here we have to say IPI. So IP address followed by 10.0.0.1 followed by 255.0.0.0 and then no shell. Right. Remember, when you empower one interface, as long as the direct connection between this router and this router, if this side is not on, this interface is not going to come on. So you don't have to worry about that. Now this router have this address on this interface and this address on this interface. That's okay. So what we have to do is go back to this router. So we click here and perform the same task. So if we go back from we got this network and we got this network. So we're just going to go ahead with it. So we have to rename our router. So host name here going to be router 2. So router 2, that's the host name. So now we have to go to this interface G0 by 0 and add this IP. So interface G0/0 IP address or IP height. So this address. So 10.0.0.2 slash 255.0.0.0 because that's a class A. And then no shout. We turn this port on. So you see here now, this side is on. So you don't have to worry about why the port is not coming on. Just assign IP and say no shout. So we can still right here and enter this interface G0 by 1. So interface G0/1, we're inside already, and we have to hide the IP. So the IPI is 192.168.2.1 followed by 255.255.255.255.0 and then no shell. Bam. See now? So if you see here, all the ports are on. But now we can transfer a message from here to here. Definitely going to fail. Why? There's no routing process. For this router to take message from this network to this network, we have to perform one kind of routing, right? So for today, we will be using static method. That means we have to manually hide the route on each router. All right, so stay tuned as we go on. So now this process is very, very, very simple, right? So let me draw down one text right here so you can get up. So now, if we're starting with this router, there are only 3 networks that we have here. So if we starting with this router, what we have to do is we have to say IP route to the destination network. So we have to specify destination network. So destination network, which is this network that is connected to R2, right? So now let's go ahead. So we go here to router 1, then using our CLI here, we have to say what? Exit. So exit and go back to global config mode. Here we have to say IP route. Destination network. So we're here. Our destination network is this network. So what do we have to type here is this network. So here is where we want to come. So what we want to do is put the network address, which is 192.168.2.0, followed by the net max, which is 255.255.0. Now, what is the next hop, right? So when we are moving from here to here, what is the path that we're going to take, which is the next hop? So the next router will be using this interface, so we have to use this address. So this address is 10.0.0.2. That's the next hop address, and we have to click on enter, right? So we also have to specify this network that is here, right? So we just have to go ahead and say IP route. So IP route, if we are routing to the 10 network, we still have to pass from here. So we have to include the 10 network in the, okay, right now we're just doing two, so it's okay for this one. So we have to go back on this router and perform the syntax. So we're going to go back here and exit. Then we have to be on global, and we have to say IP route. We're routing to this network, and we have to use this interface. So IP route to this network. So what is our network? 192.168.1.0, followed by netmax, which is 255.255.0, followed by what is the entry point? This desktop. So the desktop address is 10.0.1, and we click on enter. Okay, guys, so just specify this command so you can know exactly what it is. It's not difficult, right? So what you have to do is on this router, you have to do IP route the destination network. So we routing to this network. Now network max and then next hop. So net max and then next hop. So from here, we're coming here to here. Then from here, also we come into this network to this part, right? Okay, so that's a very easy thing to do. Right, so for this one, it's just two router. Now that we're finished configuring our route, so let's check what our route. So here we're going to go to the privilege mode, and here we're going to see our route. So show IP route. Now, if you see here, normally when you configure the two interfaces on the router, they give you connected network. So if you see here, this network is directly connected to this interface. So this network is directly connected to this interface. So C is for connected, L is for local, right? So now locally, this one, locally 10.0.0.1 is directly connected to J0 by 1, right? So now here, if you see that here we have one static route. So on this static route, we're going to this two network through this method or through this interface. This is the next hop address. So this one is okay. So now go back to this router and see our IP route. So here show IP route. So show IP route here is the same. So we have our static route here. That's okay. Alright, so on this router we have our configuration correct, connected and local. So routes are okay, and we have our static route right here. So to go to this one network, we have to pass through this interface. How simple is that? Okay, now that the configuration is done, let's try to ping, right? So let's try first from here. So we're going to first ping this interface. So command prompt here. So ping followed by the next address, so which is 192.168.2.1. Can we reach 2.1? Yes. So let's try to ping this interface. So the next interface is 10, 10.0.0.0.0, the 2, that's our next hop. We can also reach here. So again, let's try 10.1, see if we can reach this interface. Bam. We're also reaching that interface. Now let's try see if we can reach our designated network. So our designated network is 192.168.1.1. Boom. Oh yeah, statically now we have configured a route between this computer and this computer. So using two routers, this is exactly it. So let's try with the message now. So from here to here, see, successful. So this is how we end up with configuring static route between two routers. So watch out for the next video. We're going to use three routers, right? So you can see how the middle router is going to balance between, we're going to have three networks. So it's real simple, man. Just go around with it and then, see you in the next video, guys. Thanks for watching.